What I found interesting about your presentation and what I find interesting about Feed the Future is we in the Innovation International Development Program, we work a lot with different startup companies, small companies that are very interested in finding markets in developing countries and with smallholder farmers and have no capacity to get there by themselves and no knowledge of pathways to get there. And I think that Feed the Future Partners for Innovation, to use the full to use the full name. Even an acronym would help.
The U.S. government picked the name, yes.
So it's a very interesting program because you have managed to find small companies with interesting technologies and to help them penetrate these markets in ways that that really help people and make a difference within the places you're doing it. And that really is what this panel is about. And so we have 5 panelists. I'm going to introduce them in the order that I would like them to speak. I actually just figured out the order, so this is a bit of a surprise for the panelists as well. But Frank, I'm hoping you're going to open just so that you... we have 5 panelists who are going to talk now about this whole question of public-private partnership for development and what are the right models for helping companies come into new markets and to help them work with smallholder farmers in order to develop and disseminate appropriate technologies. And it's a really cool panel in that it's a very broad range of types of people. And so in order that they will be speaking, we have Frank Hartwich from UNIDO, from the International Organization, the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, that is, that works very strongly in this whole field of public-private partnership in agriculture. We have Nati Barak, who's the Chief Sustainability Officer of Nitafim, the Israel's drip irrigation company, and also I think the company that pioneered drip irrigation. Yes, yes. So we have Dawit Mugulut Dame, who's from the Agricultural Transformation Agency of Ethiopia. I was recently at the conference of IFPRI, the International Food Policy Research Institute in Ethiopia, and I can't even begin to explain the amount of praise that the Agricultural Transformation Agency in Ethiopia was getting from all of these international speakers, because Ethiopia has an extremely interesting model for trying to bring companies from abroad and to try to help them to engage in commercial activities which support smallholder farmers. And then at the end, we'll hear from once again from Deborah Hamilton, who... Did I miss one? I did. I'm sorry. All right, so there's even a good reason why I said this. So you'll speak before Deborah. Nusret Yurtur was a person that I only found out about yesterday morning. Within a few hours, he managed to get his visa, his plane ticket, and his reservation to come here from Turkey. And he's the CEO of an extremely innovative Turkish company called Taze Kuru, which works with smallholder farmers as their suppliers for their dried fruit processing company. And so it's this, and so he'll be able to give us a little bit of a perspective from a local business that has worked with also with the UNDP and gotten support from Business Call to Action, which is an amazing network of companies interested in shared value and finding ways to do commercial activities that help poor people. So I think it's going to be a very exciting panel. In terms of having a lot of people from different parts of the world, from very different perspectives, from very different types of organizations. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce Frank Hartwich from UNIDO. Now, Frank, I'm going to read part of this because I couldn't memorize it all, and I thought it was really interesting. So he's a specialist in agro-industrial and rural development. He's had 15 years of experience working with government institutions, policymakers, and the private sector. I actually learned about him because he's done some extremely interesting research that you can find online in the field, and you'll hear probably a lot about it. His current portfolio features projects fostering integrated development of agribusiness and value addition across the developing world. And he crafts high-impact value chain development programs and builds value addition capacities. Now, some of you may not know what all those words mean. Hopefully, you're about to find out. But in any event, I know from reading his research that he's one of the top experts in this field, and he's done a lot of fascinating work, and now he's going to share with us some of what he's learned along the way.